The mango vape? Ah, yes, that shit is bussin' respectfully, sir. No cap. My mommy GF doesn't allow it in our apartment, though. She's trying to quit, you see. So I always have to get a hit from the boys. Do you mind? Fucking fire, sir. Well, I should dip and leave you to the grind. Oh, wait, just one more thing. I thought you'd find this interesting. You see, when they found the guy, his shit was all fucked up, but there wasn't any evidence. The only thing they found at the scene was an empty mango cartridge in the trash. If I'm being dead ass with you, sir, you're starting to seem a bit sussy.
Alright, hello everybody. This is Mr. MMW. I am here with the game One in the Pacific. I am going to be taking over Dojo's and Lodrik's game from the Allied POV. Today we're going to be looking at the mess that he's gotten himself into. Let's start with the turn replay. It will take a bit of time, to put it mildly. And here we go. I'm going to skip a bunch of it. First of all, because Dojo got some interesting settings. So everything is going at a breakneck speed. First we see here off the coast of Java, a cruiser division wiping some minesweepers. Here's a sub. Here are a bunch of subs getting scouted. Here's an invasion of Christmas Island. All of this will be very inconsequential, considering the things that happen later on. Here is a little skirmish, throwing some planes away because why not? You can see that these planes, these Oscars, are probably coming from Chiang Mai. I doubt he can build up this airbase so quickly. We are still holding a little bit of Java. Another scout. Here is some aircraft. If you remember a while back, one of the carriers got damaged, and quite clearly these are I don't remember which one, but these are clearly their aircraft. So that's a good sign that they are not out and about. Do you see the name? No. Sad. And no in-game sound because Dojo probably got tired of hearing this. Right. Also, let me adjust the game sound because it will be very loud when I start it. There you go. Some bombing. China is unfortunately unsalvageable. I've already taken a look at it, but I will explain my strategy, if you can call it that, for China. Somehow we even still got troops over here. Can't mouse over them. More bombing everywhere. Scouting. And here are carriers. Count the planes, please. This will be very important. We have previously seen which carriers these are and how he split them. And he's not exactly shy to show them. So we kind of know what we're dealing with, which is good. We have information. Hmm. So there is one task force right off the coast of New Zealand. We don't know which terror this is. But we know that they have at least 13 zeros on board. Yeah. At least 26 zeros together. Probably two carriers, I would guess. And it's a very good thing that they are using their torpedoes. Although who knows, that might be a light carrier. In which case, yeah, there might be even one more. I don't know. Here are some nels. This is also very important because it will tell us how many nel squadrons there are and which air HQs he has. So here is one. Doesn't tell which one, but one, two, I bet one, three, three squads. So that is more than likely anymore. We may see more in a little bit. But there is at least one air HQ that is in Surabaya, meaning that it cannot be in Rabaul or in Singapore or anywhere else. This is important because the Japanese don't have that many. They only have like 8 movable uh, torpedo bomber squads. That will also be very much a factor in our ability to act in the region. Here's some bombing. Here's a deliberate attack on these poor folks. What he was trying to do, I have no idea. What the dojo was trying to do with these guys. Presumably running to Tianshui, which is here, yeah. And this, we lose big time. And here is the most tragic loss of the turn, I think. On the ground anyway. This is essentially two divisions, two beautiful divisions, and a brigade. The remains of them anyway. Being completely destroyed by the 25th, the Imperial Guards, the 18th. So essentially just the 25th Army without a division. Or maybe he just hasn't formed a division with these guys. Who knows? Maybe he's resting them. I don't know. But we know that at least the 25th Army is here. Which is very important considering that they have essentially conquered the entire Burma. And guess where they are going to go from there. But they kick us out, and guess where they kick us to. Naturally, they don't retreat here, but here. Therefore, these guys are completely dead. 5,000 casualties. Not good. Some tank forces of what remains of the Dutch forces. Here's one singular deliberate attack on the Japanese forces here at in front of Lanchu was already taken, interestingly. I didn't notice this. Here is the Korea army and garrison units. And the electric, okay. All of these are from Manchuria, yeah. And over here we have probably the best force in China attacking them, getting a win. Nice, but considering the supply situation, not worth the supply, honestly. I'll go into that in my setup video on what I will do with China. Norfolk Island, of course, building fortifications. You will see why this is a bit of a problem. And on to day 2. Here you go, one submarine. Misses, of course. Another submarine. And would you look at that? And here is probably why Dojo quit. So, Eins, one torpedo, 2 torpedoes. So, the Saratoga got, it didn't sink, I'll tell you this much. Didn't sink, but over here we have most of our carriers. And this, considering that the Japanese carriers are not far away, we are frankly quite in a midway-like scenario. The Japanese are nearing a win, but we can begin to start our push. By considering that one of our carriers just got taken out of action, we will have to come up with a solution. There are many other problems, unfortunately. Another one of our subs. Okay. Second day, got some sweeps, some bombing. God knows why Dojo loves seeing so much bombing. Here are probably the our last fighters in China. They didn't get killed, at least. More bombing. Alright. Here you can see that our forces are still trying to escape, but frankly, that's a useless attempt. If anything, I would like them to die very fast, so that we can free up some supplies for everybody else. And here, so he went from somewhere over here, yeah, to here. So he did one of these maneuvers, yeah. Matsunaga, I saw the name, I recognized the pilot. Probably got like 20 kills by now. Alright. Do we see the names now? No. Our Cobra's intercepted, but unfortunately the rate was overhead. You can also see that they engaged on at 15,000. They did dive bombing, so they released their bombs whenever they wished, and our pilots got killed. Hopefully some ops damage. 14,000 feet. Okay. Again, this bombardment. You have to press escape very fast. and our deliberate attack again. So this was on this garrison unit. Good result, honestly, but it's very nice because it does mean that he has to recuperate a little, but again, we are using supplies which we do not have. Those guys are literally gonna start starving in a bit. Somehow, Dojo decided that building forts is more important than food. So there you go. We're going to go now to the setup. And we will see what happened. I have not touched this yet. I'm going to give you my impressions, tell you what I think. I'll come up with a setup video and I'll take your suggestions into consideration. So where should we start? I've already taken a look at this and this is the most important thing. So first of all, the Saratoga. It's not gonna sink. It might, but probably won't. But unfortunately, she can't do any speed. I'm more than likely gonna send her to Suva, so she can become a floating airfield. Her together with whatever aircraft I can manage find here. Yeah, you see, my man built up Pago Pago like trying to become the next Hawaii. Here you can see some forces. If you wanna pause and look at them more detail. My man bought a bunch of engineers with no supply. Certainly. Anyway, so here are the carriers: 1, 2, 3, and 4. The original 4. So you can see, first of all, they don't have enough escorts, and I would not use this composition. I would not do this by myself. Yeah. Also, you can see the aircraft that it's carrying. My man decided to add some extra parts of another squadron, 2 parts of 2 fighter squadrons, yeah, on each one, from the Marines, no less. Carrier capable, not carrier trained. Amazing, I know. Meaning that now it's an organizational disaster. Jesus Christ, look at this. But I'm just gonna have to roll with it. There's also another problem. My man sent 4 carriers, but forgot about the 5th. Here's another carrier. The Hornet. What is it doing here? I do not know. So, nothing in the port. So here he is. We know that more than likely he has 2 to 3 carriers. We know that one is in Rabaul. We saw him bombing. We have realistically, he's not gonna get any closer to New Zealand. He probably wants to go back port. It says it's moving west, but I do not believe it. So, if we want, my priority, let's put it here, is to drive him from this area. I need to get stuff into Australia and start a push. First of all, I want to get the points, because Jesus Christ, look at this. But I want to drive him from here. I want to make a line here. He more than likely has a ton of aircraft here. So this is a no-go zone. But I want to draw the line like this. Something here. So that first of all I can secure the supply line to Australia. Drive him, sink all of his ships south of this line. and then perhaps start an attritional campaign in the Guadalcanal area, where I am at the max range of his land planes, meaning that he has to use his carriers. And he must use all of his forces outside of friendly air support. That's the idea anyway. Maybe over in Denny or something like this. Alright. So, what I'm thinking of doing right now, just to get to ask you all for some input, is something like this. I'm thinking of doing something like this, so that if he does head, I do not know. It says there is no detection. I don't believe it. Certainly, he obviously knows about the Saratoga. He may do a beeline for the Saratoga because he knows it's probably very slow, and he would be right. I intend to make Saratoga and Fiji air fortress as much as possible, so that if he does rush them, they can at least fight back, even if we score a draw. Otherwise, which is why I'm moving like this. I intend to do 1-2 pulses, right? The first day, anyway, will be something like this. So that if he does go here, right, somewhere here, we can intercept him, and we have 3 carriers worth of planes. They're just gonna have to manage. I'm very sorry. We actually, let me take a look at the pilots. They're good. Naval bombing, Jesus Christ. My men did not train them at all. Oh, sorry, this was the fighter. No, they're actually very good. Alright. Okay, I cannot blame him for that. You can also take a look here. These are all the aircraft. Good amount of fighters. Good amount of bombers. Tiny amount of torpedoes. But okay. So I intend to engage him fully at as close range as possible because of our aircraft being short range. So if he does go here, we will obviously engage him. But if he goes here somewhere, I'm hoping that during the second day of the turn, we can go over here and engage him there. Also, I'm gonna do the same, transfer as much aircraft from Australia to Noumea as possible. And again, try as much as possible to sink his carriers. That's the idea. Because he's very far away from any port. We are not. We can take damage, we have American damage control. We want to get brawling. We have a port here, we have ports everywhere. If anything, we want a slog with him. We want to fight him as much as possible. But okay, that's the idea. Or perhaps, if we pull back to Pearl Harbor, unfortunately, I don't think he's gonna be foolish enough to get out of his plane range. Anyway, let's take a look at the intelligence report. Oh, also, by the way, let's start some music, eh? Let's compare it to my voice. Sounds a bit loud to me. Sounds a bit loud to me, but alright. Alright. Let's hope it's not too loud. I'm even gonna lower it. Hold on. There we go. So let's take a look at the intelligence. Here are the plane losses. Overall, the number isn't horrible, honestly. The number is not horrible. If we can take a look at the aircraft, we have only lost 22 fortresses. This is good. I've also taken a look at the bases. They have a decent amount of aircraft. The losses though. Here you go. All dates, the Japanese. This is also probably not true, by the way. What in God's name? And I'm gonna cry if I look at this. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at this bar. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battleships. Lost one carrier. At least we haven't lost more, hey? Let's take a look at them by one of these. Okay. So, some but not a critical amount of heavy cruisers. Bunch of destroyers, but we have plenty. That's okay. Jesus Christ, look at this. Poor Dominion Mara. Okay. AKs. Holy Jesus. Look at this. AOs, this is bad. Oh, look at the tankers. Oh, this is very, very bad. Many submarines. But hey. Yeah. What else? Yeah. And you don't want to look at this. Jesus Christ. Take a look at these units. Holy moly. So clearly we are in a very bad situation. Oh, also let me take a look at this. Here is also the map. I'm gonna to just show you the situation we're in. The Dutch East is in this is almost completely in Japanese control. We know that the 25th Army is here. Perhaps even more than the 25th Army, but we do not know. China is out of fuel, out of supply. My man has built up every single base in existence to the maximum fortification level. Because of course he did. Look at this guy. 2000 AV here. No fuel, no supply anywhere. Unfortunately, we can do nothing anymore in China other than delay him. I'm going to essentially turn off replacements for every single thing in China and make a long trail of dead units along here and hold up in Chongqing as long as possible. I will try to delay him for as long as I can with these units. There's nothing. There is nothing they can do anymore. And my man is rushing ahead over here. Yeah. What's over here? My man rushed everything he had in China into Loyang for some reason. It's hard not to get depressed about this, but we must win over here. This is the only place we can win. Over here, I'm going to concentrate all the efforts that I can into not letting him land in India. If he goes after Ceylon, I don't know. But if he'll let us not let him land and take Calcutta. If he takes our industry, it's GG's. Therefore, everything will be concentrated in the defense of India. Somewhere in this region, and presumably this region. Actually, the only place in the game where we actually have a decent bit of supply is Ceylon. Yeah, pretty few planes. Not a horrible amount, I guess, but they won't stop an invasion. But we have a decent bit of force. Yeah, I do think I can hold out against an invasion over here for at least a little bit. Same with India. We have a decent bit of force, but we obviously don't have. There are like no ships here, like no ships, because he has been so active with his carriers. Yeah. And then we have the logistical situation. Aye. There are tons and tons of cargo and tanker ships that just end in the middle of nowhere, that are on cruise speed without even the allowed to retreat point. They just stop. They just stop in the middle of the ocean. Actually, this, wow, the one task force that actually goes to a place. Amazing. He loves tiny task forces. That's what I'm getting from this. So yeah. Look at that. A little bit of troops. We do... a lot of ships are in here, you know, and they're out of supply. Of course, they are. I'm essentially going to have to redo this from zero, unfortunately. I'm gonna send all these ships to the nearest task force. This is also worst part. Have a bit of force everywhere, but nothing concentrated. Yeah. Australia isn't... Australia has a decent bit of supply, 100,000, but is out of fuel. There are like no ships in Australia. Decent bit of aircraft. He refuses to use Townsville as the main base for some reason. And he has everything in these southern ports. He has a ton of units spread out everywhere for some reason. And somebody mentioned this is the big cruiser task force. Out of fuel, out of ammo. Yeah. And dispersed. If you take a look, I would use my cruisers. There's a problem with this though. Hold on. There we go. A bunch of them are here with the carriers. A bunch of them are in Pearl Harbor. And a bunch of them are here. So they're in 3 different completely separate locations. Here, here, and here. And some of them are in completely ridiculous locations, like here. I guess he's at least going to Los Angeles, but... in America, I haven't actually taken a good look at America yet. Besides the fact that he's got, again, a million tiny task forces that are not escorted in the list. And he has a ton of escorts in Pearl Harbor and in other places doing basically nothing. I also just generally don't like huge task forces like this. But hey. So anyway, that's my plan for now. I'm gonna do a lot of reorganization. I'm gonna come back with a setup. And maybe I'll do a couple of videos about the situation If you want to see something, I can show you. We'll talk on the Discord. Looking to maybe what can I show you even? Some battleships are okay, I guess. Oh yeah, even bigger problem, the forces. Say I want to invade you know, somewhere, but I can't exactly. I don't have many forces. To his credit, he has brought a lot of forces here. Unfortunately, none of them are really like, they're very spread out, very spread out. A bunch of engineers everywhere. Some forces, but not an invasion force. I cannot take any base with this. Like, look at this. My man's got one of the few artillery sections that the Americans have available, and he's just put them on an island with a Marine Raider battalion. Like, what? I guess we're trying to defend, but this is not going to stop anything. Might as well just put them all in one base and have one good concentrated force. Of course, we have few supply and few everything, mainly because take a look at where his supply line is. Where are they? Here you go. This is where his tankers are going. From Los Angeles over here to to Melbourne. And I can tell you, for example, oh, actually, this is not enough supply or fuel or anything. For example, in Fiji, I would normally want at least like 50,000 supply and like 50,000 fuel, but I can guarantee you that in this entire game, he has not got more than 3 convoys. In like 6 months of play, he has not gone more than 3 convoys into Suva. And that is because of the inefficiency of the system. He has gone all the way like this, with tiny task forces. And a lot of them obviously got sunk because he didn't manage them. Yeah. Unfortunately, we do not have time to reorg. I would need at least a month to bring all the supply and fuel necessary, which we simply do not have time to. So we're gonna have to work with what we have. First, we need a military win. And for that, we need to get rid of his carriers and maybe raid and sink ships and destroy aircraft over here. This is what we need. Then we need to organize our forces into one big blob and maybe push somewhere and start the attritional war. Those are my thoughts for now. Also, he's got a million task forces. He uses Panama for some reason instead of Los Angeles or Pearl Harbor as his main supply base. Again, inefficient. It takes forever to go from here to here, not so long from. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. Oh, great, we have those intel reports. Anyway, thankfully the aircraft are mostly intact. 7th is for some reason here, not in Australia. Interesting. Yeah. So this about covers it for the overview. Now, what can I even show? Yeah. Let's call it that for this episode. Thank you for watching this despair-inducing gameplay. But I'm going to try my hardest to get a draw out of this. He at least has a bunch of subs, which are doing these kinds of patrols. But he does have them. he does have some forces, and I'll try to make use of them. Thank you for watching, and I'll come back with the setup video. Oh, and one last thing. Thank you.